besties, welcome back to episode 2 of the Late Brunch Show with Taquira Peoples. I'm your host, Taquira Peoples, obviously, so that'd be really weird if I wasn't. Today's podcast episode is going to be about cystic fibrosis. I've had cystic fibrosis since I was born. That's usually how it goes. I'm usually born with it. And I just want to talk about, life with cystic fibrosis, my relationship with my health, my thoughts, my opinions. And yeah, so let's get right on in with the podcast. Let's just get into it. Sorry, that's so cringy. People watching, I apologize, which also, it's my little plug. You guys, if you're watching this, you can also listen to it over on Spotify, which I'm so excited. I was like, love that for me. Or if you're listening on Spotify, you can go watch the video version over on my YouTube channel, Taquira Peoples. Let's just talk about cystic fibrosis, CF. There was another word for it, but I literally could not remember it. But yeah, let's get right on in with it. Yeah. What is cystic fibrosis? So I'm gonna pull out my handy dandy phone and just Google what is cystic fibrosis. And the answers pops up. We're just gonna read it. Got it. Okay. Cystic fibrosis is an inherited life-threatening disorder that damages the lungs and the digestive system. Cystic fibrosis affects the cells that produce mucus, sweat, and digestive juices. Something about the word juices in this context does not make me feel good. It makes me never want to drink juice again in my life. It causes these fluids to become thick and sticky. We can do without sticky and juice. They then plug up tubes, ducts, and passageways. It's a rare rare disease, life-threatening. Okay, cool, that's cystic fibrosis. The versions the doctors tell us is usually just like, you get a lot of mucus buildup in your lungs because you have a hard time breaking it down, so you just take treatments, which we'll be talking about right now. So the treatments I take for my cystic fibrosis is, I do the vest, which I feel like I think every CF kid does the best, right? Is that a thing? If you get cystic fibrosis, let me know. I think that has to be a thing. Oh my god, wait a minute. Also, my little sister has cystic fibrosis as well, which is also really rare for two siblings to end up having cystic fibrosis. But yeah, so my little sister also has cystic fibrosis. We have the same gene, I believe. Yeah, we have the same gene because we have the same gene. And you're not supposed to be around anybody else that has cystic fibrosis, which is why you just stay like 6 feet apart, which is like 5 feet apart. If you watch me with cystic fibrosis, you get it. If you get it, you get it. Yeah, just want to say that my little sister also has cystic fibrosis. But anyways, talk about treatments. I do my vest for 30 minutes. I change like my timing, so every 10 minutes my settings for the frequency of how fast it goes to 20, 15, 10, and then 6. I also do sodium chloride, albuterol. I do Toby when it's needed, tobramycin. Yeah, those are my treatment regimen. Oh my god, obviously Flovent and albuterol, the inhalers. Yeah, that's basically my treatments that I take. Obviously, you take a lot of pills when you have cystic fibrosis. Creon, I think Creon is like the #1 most common pill like every cystic fibrosis kid takes, which basically helps you break down food because our bodies does not allow us to, which can be very frustrating if you go to the bathroom. That's all I'm gonna say. The girlies that has cystic fibrosis know what I'm talking about. Take your dang enzymes. Take your Creon. Take your enzymes. I'm watching you. And my doctor's like, Taquira, we're watching you and you. I know, doctors. I know. Okay. It's so funny. I used to hate going to like my doctor's appointments because I know when I was little, I never used to take my treatments or want to take my treatments. So now that I'm older, I'm just like, hey guys, like, I'm taking my treatments. Proud of me. Like, as if like I feel like I deserve a reward for it. I'm like, yeah, I take my treatments now. Like, when I was little and I didn't, can I get like an award? Can I get like a paper that says I take my treatments? That'd be great. I thought I could talk about what is cystic fibrosis longer, but I really can't, which is really embarrassing because my junior year of high school, I had health class, so we had health every 2 years, so freshman year and junior year, and I actually did my final presentation on cystic fibrosis, which you would think I would know more about it, but I don't. I know about cystic fibrosis, obviously I have it. Yeah, let's just talk about my life with cystic fibrosis, my journey. Okay, so let's bring this back to when I was like a toddler. So when I was a toddler, and every morning before I would go to preschool, my mom used to make sure that treatments were always very fun for us. She would have, you know, those things where you put in water and they expand into like a dinosaur or like a spongy thing. So every morning we'd come downstairs, my little sister and I, well, my mom would like pick my little sister up. She would like walk me downstairs like 3, and she would sit us down, and you know, she would get my vest on, and she would go, okay, like put your little things in here, and I would, you know, like put my little sponges in, and I would sit there without complaining. Treatments back then were fun, and also you used to get padded when you were little, because it is depressed, like the vest would like be too much for you. Yeah, and then as I got older, when I turned, I'm gonna say 5 to like, this is embarrassing, 5 to like, I would say however old you are in 8th grade, I hated taking my treatments. Like taking a treatment to me was like a punishment. I never took a treatment. I was always sick, and I just hated taking my treatments. Like it was one of those things where it felt so taxing. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, my parents used to always tell me, like literally always tell me, it'd make me so mad. They'd be like, you're not hurting us by not taking your treatments, you're hurting yourself. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yes, I did. Like, I hate admitting that my parents were right, but they were right. And it's so funny because like they bring that up, like, oh, do you remember when we were little, we would tell you and your little sister that? I'm like, okay, you don't gotta rub it in my face. I get it, okay? And so, yeah, I hated taking my treatments, and I would just say some of the dumbest things. Like I would be like, I can't take my treatment, I have to do homework, and I can't write while taking my treatment. Yes, you can, Taquira, however old I was, Taquira, you can take your treatment and write. I've done like planning my schedules on my treatment. I've done homework in high school taking my treatment. You very much so could have been doing your homework on your treatment and writing. Like that's not, it's whatever. And then I would get mad because I would always feel like left out. Not left out of things. It would just make me mad at how like my friends wouldn't have to like, because some of my friends didn't get it, but like I would be jealous because they don't have to take a treatment. They could just go live their lives however they want and not have to worry about, oh, if I don't take my treatment, I'm gonna get sick. Oh, if I'm, not that I'm older, oh, if I drink, I'm gonna mess up my liver even more, or like any of that type of stuff. And like none of my friends really like understood. Not that they didn't understood. It was just like one of those things where it's always like, oh, like I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm talking about, like, by being with my friends, but like just being jealous of other people, and then having to like explain like, oh, like I can't do that because I have cystic fibrosis, and then them kind of looking at me like you're weird, like everybody else is doing it. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but sometimes, you know, you do the things that you shouldn't be doing, and then you get sick, and then you get admitted to the hospital, and it's just like, well, if you didn't do that, or if you took your treatments, you wouldn't have been in there in the first place. Stick around. Calling you out, girly girl. Yeah, but once I got into high school, my sophomore year, I was saying my sophomore year, I really started taking, like, I just had a reality check with myself, because I was in a very bad place. We're not friends no more, but at the time, one of my best friends had moved away. Like I said, we're not friends anymore. Wish her the best. Love her. Iconic. Like, I hope you have a happy life. Like, good. Like, I hope you're thriving. Basically, I wish no ill turn to no one. But then it kind of just left me by myself, and I didn't know who I really was, and it got me thinking into like, okay, like I have literally and it felt like, so I was like, I'm just gonna need to like focus on my health. And I just had like I thought with myself, and I said, like, well, how old are you? Like 15, going on 16. I need to start taking control of like my health and making sure that I know what I'm doing, and not being stupid and argue with my parents at the age of what, 15 or 16 years old about taking my treatments. Like, that's just embarrassing. So I started taking my treatments, and I started getting on my grind. I was taking my pills. I was living my best life. During that time too, I was also going on like a very much like a self-love journey and finding myself and who I am. But getting my health on track really helped me. And then also during this time, my older sister became pregnant with my nephew Liam. And sorry, this is so tracted, but it makes sense, I promise. And I have nephews and nieces. Okay, before like my nephews, I had like Miles and Liam and Marin. I've had nephews before, but I was too young to really be in their lives. Does that make sense? Like, we weren't close. We didn't really see, like, I don't see my family as much as I would like, you know, talking, like, we don't really, the only time we really get together is on, like, a family picnic on 4th of July, or, like, a birthday party, or some, like, one of my nephew's parties now we go to. But, like, back in the day, I don't know, we kind of fell in touch with my other side of my family, and we really just kind of, like, I didn't watch my nephews grow up. So it's the first time that I'm actually going to be able to be part of, like, my nephew's life. And obviously Maisha and I were really close. Like, she literally is like my older sister. Like, we've done everything together. Love you. Ew, even though I hate saying that. But she got pregnant, and she had my nephew Liam, and I think that's when my life changed. And I was like, okay, like, I don't, because before this there was no Tricafta, and it was very much known that, like, CF kids or patients, people with cystic fibrosis, die young. And I very much so was just ready to be like, okay, like, I lived my life, like, CF's gonna take over, like, I'm just gonna die, like, I don't really care. But then, like, when he was born, I was like, no, like, I do care, like, I want to be alive, I want to watch my nephews grow, I want to be part of their lives. So it really did mean that, like, okay, like, shit, like, if I really want to be part of, like, watch my nephew grow up, like, I have to start taking my health serious. And I really did. And it would make me mad when I would go to my doctor's appointments after knowing that, like, okay, like, I'm taking my treatments, I'm taking my pills, I'm exercising, I'm doing right, I'm eating right, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And I would take my PFT, which is a machine you blow into. Like, you take a deep breath and you just blow as hard as you can into this tube, and it shows your FEV1 and something else, your airway clearance. I don't know what it's called. But it basically shows you where your breathing's at. And I would take it, and, like, my PFTs were low, which is not a good thing. You want your PFTs to be high and, like just good. And I would get so frustrated because I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm taking my treatments, I'm doing what I have to do. And, you know, they're like, well, your lungs are scarred from probably not taking treatments when you were younger, which it was from that. And I just remember being like, wow, like, okay, like, I was at the point of just ready to give up on my health, but I didn't want to, because, like I said, like, I wanted to see my nephew grow, and I wanted, like, I had goals and dreams I wanted to achieve, and I was like, I can't just give up now. Like, I'm trying. If I just stop trying, what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? And then my senior year, I had gotten really sick towards the end of the year, and during this time, I was taking my treatments. I was doing what I have to do. I was taking treatments at school. Like, I really was just on, like, I was doing what I had to do, and I felt at my worst. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I could, like, feel the mucus in my lungs. Like, it was awful. I couldn't sleep. Everything hurt. I went to a doctor's appointment, and they were like, yo, your lungs, not good. Haven't heard lungs that bad in a very, very long time. And I remember just hearing that and just being ready to be like, just like wishing that, like at that point in 2019, I was just ready to, like, die. Like, I was ready to be like, okay, like, my lungs are gonna give out. Like, I was just, like, I was prepared for it. Does that make sense? Like, I came to a realization that, like, okay, like, maybe like going asleep, you know, talking like a deep sleep would like, I would be fine with it because I wouldn't be in pain. But I would cry because I'd be like, I won't be able to watch, like, my nephews grow, and I won't be able to do things. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to. It was like, if I were to have slept, you know what I mean, I wouldn't have been mad, but at the same time, I didn't want to. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't want it, but I thought about it a lot. That, like, I was just, like, ready just to give up on, like, my health and be like, okay, like, if my lungs are going bad, they're going bad. But then in the winter of 2019, the doctors were like, yo, we have a new drug called Tricafta. And it's not a cure, but it kind of, what's it called? It reverses one of the genes in cystic fibrosis, and a lot of patients love it. You should try it out. So now we're going to talk about Tricafta. What do you want to talk about now? I feel like Tricafta really saved my life, honestly. And I've never really talked about this with anyone, not even my little sister, because it was one of those things where, like, you're battling a disease that you've had your entire life. I feel like talking to people about it, they're just like, okay, we get it. Like, you have cystic fibrosis, okay, cool, whatever. So being able to, like, talk about it openly with people who never, like, you know, for the first time or whatever, feels good. But anyways, Tricafta came out December of 2019, the first time I knew about it, and I started taking it in the end of 2019, like New Year's Eve weekend. I started taking it, and within like 2 weeks I started feeling better. Like, it was weird because it was one of those things, like, when I would be able, like, when I was in the car singing, I could never actually finish singing a song because I would always get out of breath. And when I started taking Tricafta, I realized, like, oh my god, like, I can sing a song. Like, excuse me, I was like burped. I was like, I can, like, sing. Like, I can finish a song. And then I started going on walks, and I was like, wait, like, I'm not out of breath. I'm not coughing. I didn't have coughing fits no more. I've had a big coughing fit, well, since I had, like, pneumonia back in, like, a couple months ago, and I was sick last week, but, like an actual coughing fit that lasted months in a very long time. I could run, which was something I had not been able to do. Like, I would have to get, like, doctor excuses to get out of gym class for, like, the pace or test or the mile, because my lungs wouldn't allow me. Like, I couldn't do it. And so I was able to run and, like, walk and, like, speed walk and all these things that, like, I wasn't really able to do because of my lungs. And I just remember being like, okay, like, I'm not gonna sleep, and I'm like a deep sleep. Like, I'm gonna live, and I have a longer lifetime now because of this pill. Like, okay, like, I think after that I was kind of like, okay, like, I remember being in my senior year, like I said, when I thought I was going to actually like you know, like, bye-bye. We had to do a senior presentation about a career we wanted to do, and I did film and, like, directing. And I just remember being like, oh, I'm not actually gonna do this job because I'm just not gonna make it. Like, I was like, what's the point of me doing this? Like, I just feel stupid. I didn't really I had hopes and dreams, but I never thought I could accomplish it because I thought my existence wouldn't be very long. And so I wasn't really serious. I mean, I wanted to do it, but it wasn't something I genuinely wanted to do. It was just like, oh, but I wanted to do it, but, like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? And so after that, and I got healthy, I kind of had to sit myself down and be like, okay, like, I'm gonna make it. Like, what do I do now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, like, I want to start going back into YouTube, so I started filming a bit. I want to start doing social media. I downloaded it. I was like, maybe I can do a, like, on TikTok, or, like, I was like, okay, like, I've always had a dream of, like, wanting to, like, just be out there. Like, I think my biggest goal in life would be to be able to get signed to, like, a modeling agency and then walk in Fashion Week. That'd be, like, my biggest dream in the entire world. I don't even care what brand it is. I just, unless it's an offensive brand, I don't know. But I would just, like, that's, like, my biggest goal in life. My biggest goal in life is just to walk in Fashion Week. And also be able to, like, act. I love, like, watching movies. I'd be like, oh my god, I want to be an actress so bad. That's a goal of mine. And, like, back in the day, like, I really didn't think about it. I was kind of like, yeah, like, no, like, I could never achieve that. Like, I'm not, like, you know what I mean? But now that I have, like, my health's good and everything, I was like, okay, like, I can try this. Let's try this out. So that's what I did. My goals, I feel like, are, you know, to, like, just live life and try to go after my dreams and my goals and try to achieve everything that I want to achieve in my lifetime now, which is really crazy. I'm able to watch my nephews grow up. Like, my nephew Liam just turned 4, and my nephew Miles turned 2. My sister had a daughter back in March, Mary. So it's crazy to be able to just watch, like, them grow up and, like, be in their lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I also remember, this is off topic, but when I was born, the doctor, they asked my mom, like, oh, do you want to know how long she has possibly in the age range? And my mom said yes. and my life expectancy age was 13, which is crazy now because I'm 21. Like, I could have, like, I don't know, obviously, I feel like if medicine isn't as advanced as it is now, or even was back when I was like 13, like would I, you know what I mean? I just think about that sometimes. I'm like, wow, like 13, that's so young. Like, that's, I just can't believe it. Like, it's one of those things, I'm just like, holy, Mom, are you sure? Yeah, but my mom said that, like, it freaked her out. She wishes that she didn't ask for the answer, but she did. But here I am, 21, living life strong. I'm not that strong. I've been working out, but you can't even tell. Yeah, let's move on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about. But now I want to talk about the blame game. Now, this is something I like to call it, is when you're growing up and you don't exactly know how you should feel when you have cystic fibrosis. And I feel like I blamed my parents a lot for it, and I used to get mad at them, like, this is your fault, this isn't fair, I didn't ask for this. And then there's other times where I would go and I would blame God and be like, God, like, why did you do this to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? I would take his name in vain, basically, and just be very, like, I always just wanted to blame it on someone other than just the fact that, like, you know, like, it happens. Like, there's nothing my parents to really, you know what I mean, like, no. And so growing up and just hating, not hating my parents, that's dramatic, just being upset sometimes with them when it's not their fault. It was not in their control. And I look back and I'm just like I said some really hurtful things when I was younger to, like, my parents about it, been like, I hate you, this isn't fair, just very rude to my parents about it, as if, like, by me having it doesn't hurt them too, you know what I mean? Like, emotionally, not obviously, like, they don't feel my pain, but, like, emotionally draining for them, especially when, like, we were younger, all the doctor appointments we have to go to, all the hospital trips, like, it's a lot. And to my parents, I'm sorry, I was a bit dramatic, I was a bit rude, and now that I'm older, I can't blame anyone. There's no one to blame. It's just life just happened to throw it at me, and I got picked, and they're like, you can do this, you're strong enough. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, this is a really small topic. It's really hard for me to talk about. Maybe one day I'll talk more in depth about it. But I think wanting to blame someone for having a disease, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, you want to blame someone, but deep down you know it's no one's fault, but you just want to pin it on someone to, like, I don't understand, just to give them, like, a reason to be, oh, this is your fault, this is my parents' fault, this is someone's fault. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just the blame game, I call that, just wanting to blame someone, basically. It was really hard growing up with and dealing with, but I think I've gotten a lot better at it now, and I've got it under control. And you know, I obviously, like, I pray, okay, I'm a Christian, so I really did, after a while, try building back up my relationship with God, and I feel like I really got there last year, and it really made me happy, you know, like, just praying and reading my Bible. Okay, cool, that's enough about that topic. I don't even know why you got on that tangent. Okay, next thing, that is the end of this podcast. I hope you guys loved this episode. If you guys want, you can go listen to it over on Spotify. Like I just said, please leave it at 5 stars. Comment down below any things you want to talk about, any other things you want to bring about. I'm sorry this is kind of rambly. I thought this would be more structured than it was. But yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you next Wednesday at 12:30. Love you guys. Bye.